Welcome back, 5 Aces.
Battle control initialized.
Hey people, 5 Aces here. Looks like I've stumbled upon a veritable gold mine. And I'm not talking about these ore mines here. I'm talking about a gold mine of replays. So, someone has contacted me that one of the players that I casted recently is actually Dang Shot. And Dang Shot, who is featured in a beautiful, beautiful purple color here, has been tearing up the 1v1 scene, and he actually has played what I believe is a best of 9 against Cav. So that is something that we're also going to be highlighting very, very momentarily. But for now, I haven't gotten my hands on that replay just yet. Suffice to say, Dang Shot has been a newcomer to the scene and has been just taking names. This seems to be a recurring trend right now. The old guard are getting weary. The old guard are definitely not in the driver's seat anymore. So a new generation of OpenRA players are ascending, and I'm really happy to see that. My time in the competitive spotlight is over as well. Given that I just lost, right now I'm in the standings for Masters Division, I'm 0-4, which lends me to believe that it's gonna be a rough season. Anyway, be that as it may, we're going up Dang Shot as Russia against Unano as Ukraine. And Unano is someone who has been playing... Ooh, that's juicy. That is a juicy kill if he finds it. I think that's gonna work out just nicely. Yeah, Unano is someone who has been... who has been playing in Masters at least for 1 season. Nice snipe here. Perfect gamer sense. And Dang Shot playing it actually fairly safe. He's expecting an attack, some aggression onto the Derrick. This is a weird position because it's not that easy to defend. If you want to line up your infantry, you have to put them in front of the oil derrick, which is not what you want. Because then the line of sight advantage does not actually help you. Oh wow, that rifleman earning his stripes. Heal! Oh no, he's not elite yet. Nope, he's gonna die eventually. But good run here from Unano regardless. Early rockets coming out. Let's see, is that gonna be the same? Yeah, same here for Unano. Unano, also known as... what other names did he run as? He had quite a few names back in the day. Back in his heyday. But definitely still a good player to tangle against and with. Rocket soldiers in the back, I really like that. Ooh, manually repositioning them. And I like the dog opener from Dang Shot as well. Dog opener just ensures that you, as long as you play it and micro it nicely, you're always gonna have the edge in those little skirmishes in the early game. Just gives you a lot more pressure. The engineer from Unano, smartly staying home, taking a little vacation, a little day off, next to the barracks. Completely understandable, my friend. We are seeing an APC build versus an APC build. Relatively delayed from Dang Shot. Did he go for it? No. He must have bungled up his... Oh no, it's just the kennel. Kennel takes 5 seconds? Ballpark estimate right there. No flamethrowers, I'm disappointed, my friend. Wait, is that a Grenadier APC though? I didn't manage to catch that, but it looks like it to me. There aren't that many objectives anymore. Wait, where was the engineer going anyway? Okay, so the engineer basically only has 1 derrick to take on this map, realistically at least. Okay, APC is just empty, just a little scouting run. And on the other side, is this the dread... Oh, is it rockets? Okay, Unano. What's in the box? It's 3 rockets, that's pretty good. That is a scary army. Scary little, detachment. Very nicely played from Unano. But Dang Shot is not dropping the ball, not dropping his harvester loads just yet. And sending back the harvesters. This one is relatively wounded. They have self-heal, obviously. Harvesters and Mammoth tanks are the only vehicles in the game with self-heal outside of Veteran C3. So it's gonna be able to recover just in a little bit, but only up to 50% health, or 51% rather. Service depot is out for both players, and a really good MCV timing for Unano. Dang Shot is obviously behind by a kennel margin. So scouts littered across the map for him as well. Dang Shot playing it a little more passive, just waiting, just biding his time, macroing up. Nothing too crazy just yet. Move out with the army and the MCV from Unano. Not that high octane of a matchup just yet, but it came with high recommendations, so I trust in the viewers. I trust in the replay lords. First heavy tank is out, and the timing should be relatively similar for Dang Shot, who has now positioned his army on the main expansion lines, leaving your main base open. There's always a gamble. Happened to me twice that I moved in RAGL matches, that I moved my army out onto the expansion, and then I had an attack onto my main base. But sometimes you just run the gamut and you lose. By the way, this dog has been in continuous service for what, 5 minutes now? That is probably a record, considering OpenRA's dog lifespan. Usually, I don't know, the CPS for dogs, they're gonna intervene at some point. APC is still alive, still has, 3 rockets. 3 rockets in it. Smaller army though for Unano, so if he gets into a frontal assault, he's definitely standing to lose there. Oh yeah, Dang Shot doesn't want any of this. He is waiting for that APC. Not falling prey to any backline actions there. Dog leading the pack, I swear. I've never seen a dog this long-lived. This is in OpenRA years, this dog is 250 years old. Oh, uh-oh. MCV is moving out. Wait, Unano doesn't... Okay. So that has been given away by that scout. Were it not for the backline scout, this would have been a really, really dangerous APC in the backlines. But as it stands, I don't know. Moving out and basically pulling a gatekeeper move is Dang Shot. Just moving his main army and moving his main MCV with it. Yep. So his backlines are now completely exposed. Oh, Unano, unload! Unload, my friend! Oh no. Oh, that is such an expensive loss. That's 1950 with the addition of a rifleman. Yeah, doing math while casting is hard. Really evenly split map, but it's looking like a really good economical situation for Unano. Let's check that real quick. Slightly ahead. Not by a large margin, and 7 harvesters for both. So this is a game where no pressure has been exerted at all, I feel. Okay, little push deflected. Now obviously the map is looking a lot in Unano's favor. Right now he's got more map control, but he has spread himself thin, so if there is a prong attack, maybe a 2-prong, or maybe there is just a needle attack right into the heart of Unano's base where he doesn't expect it, then that could be really dangerous. One backline tank managing to sneak through. Wow, this tank has run the gauntlet. Alright. Straight into the backlines he goes. There is nothing to defend here. That is juicy. Frontal assault onto the flame tower, easily deflected. Flame tower says nope. Good hustle. This tank is not getting through. Wow, this is a multi-prong. 5 different fronts are opening up here. On the other side, there's a little counter push from Unano. Ooh, this is getting really juicy. How are you gonna defend? Alright, on this side he has probably defended successfully by sheer virtue of having the harvesters and meat shields. Dang Shot is splitting off his army though. A little part of it is going to the right hand side. What happened? What became of this tank? Remember that tank? This is him. Feeling old now? Yeah, just killed his first harvester. Solid. Good hustle. Left hand side, Tesla coil is kind of pushing back the army, at least for the time being. And this push has been cleaned up. So tit for tat, but Unano's lost the harvester. Plus he's lost a little bit more in the army department as well. So that's gonna be reflected. No! And the army value is still much higher for Unano. Alright. What about the bank then? Bank is higher for... What? He's got 6 harvesters over 8. Under 8, yet he's got the higher income. Okay. How come? What gives? Oh no, the tank! Still not dead! Are you kidding me? Wait. That doesn't sound right. Maybe it was with the regeneration, but I think that should have been dead. I feel like that should have been a lethal blow to the Harvester. Anyway, lucky break for Unano. Oh, and here we've got the single prong attack with a wide front and a V2 for support, for backline support. That is gonna be a really good position, because even if he doesn't push into the main base, Dang Shot can just take pot shots from the V2 rocket launcher. Yeah. Yep. Manually targeting, not yet, but always keeping it in a separate control group. Always keeping it in the backlines. That's so good. Ah, he's pulling it back now. Oh, he's pulling back to defend here. It was probably just him selecting all units with the same type. Yep. Ah, now the V2 is dead. He should kill the Conyard. That's an easy wipe. Conyard doesn't sustain much damage here. Yeah. That is super dead. It's just a Conyard though. Oh! He's not committing. God, there we go. I really thought it was gonna let it live there. Okay, this push has been deflected as well, so Dang Shot taking advantage of his tech advantage there, or of his tech lead. Pretty good, but needs to definitely come to terms with the fact that there is a bigger army still out on the boat for Unano. Army tab. Yes, 60 rifles, 24 rockets, 7 heavies. That is quite the discrepancy. Tesla Coil is not going to be able to stand against this push much longer. Good night, sweet prince. V2s are needed. They are desperately needed. Against this rocket density, you don't really want the heavy tanks anymore. Too slow. They create husks. The husks just mess up your pathing. It is what it is. By the way, I've heard talks about changing the husk mechanic, so they no longer stay on the ground as long. Would be an interesting yet contentious change, I'd say. All right. Left-hand side, everything has been dismantled here as well. 2 Harvesters dead for Dang Shot, 2 more Harvesters idle. Ooh, Dang Shot is under pressure. I mean, no wonder. No wonder, really. Yikes. There is 1 more Harvester down for the count. That is 6 Harvesters now for both, and both are really strapped for cash. Yikes. These tanks still have free reign. 4 heavy tanks. Left-hand side. That is 1 more Yak down, 1 more Harvester as well. But Unano, his feathers are also being ruffled. Harvesters are being frantically rebuilt on both sides. Look at this. 10k income on 6 Harvesters. It's like just pressing the macro button all over again. Over and over. Just please. Oh, the Yak did not do what it was supposed to do. The tech is the one big asset that Dang Shot has right now. He's otherwise been thoroughly dismantled. If we look at the assets, yeah. It is 44 over 52k. Even though the Harvesters are even. Most of the map's actually mined out. If we're zooming out, let's panoramic zoom, panoramic view. Let's take a look at the bigger picture. There's still a relatively large untapped ore patch here. And that's about it. Rest of the map mostly mined out. Back to production. Back to John with the production tab. Uh-oh. More Harvesters falling prey. Yeah, Dang Shot, man. Where's your army? Where's your army gone? He's killing those pockets of infantry little by little. It's so hard to keep track of all of that because, as Ganon said, this game sucks. It doesn't scout. You can't scout anything at all. This game sucks very much. Unfortunately, Ganon, I would have loved for him to participate in RGL, and initially he signed up, but he just pulled out last week. I read on the Discord server because it's like, this game not fun for me. This game is not fun for me. No scouting is possible. Which is a fair take. Scouting is, vision range of units in OpenRA is abysmal outside of a couple niche scouting units, such as the Yak and the Ranger. But that is part of the dynamic because you can't rely on cheap scouting units. You really have to play smart. You have to rely on your gamer sense a lot. And sometimes it leads to gambits, and sometimes it leads to really crazy, fun, high-stakes gameplay. Man, with the 1v2, Dang Shot really needs to make this work. Oh, he's got a second one. Definitely no cash for any air-related shenanigans. Whoa, what a shot. That was a V2 and oh, one more! Scatter move is being issued, but it's not enough. It's not enough. Oh, that was beautifully played. Damn, son. The V2's laying down the blanket fire. Solid play from Dankshot. Very nicely played. Ah, the flag track though. On the tail end of this. On the right hand side, here is round 2. And this is where the army lead comes into play. Ooh, that is just a backline drop. Yep. That's just a para drop. I was honestly expecting the para bombs. I think they're... Ah, he's Russia. Nope. It's the other way around. It's Unano who has spawned as Ukraine. So most certainly no shot at any para bombing. Which is a damn shame. Alright, the V2 shots have to be phenomenal. Really good lead. But he's moved, Unano's moved out a little bit. Ah, that's gonna be center of mass. There we go. Beautiful, deleting half the blob with a single volley. But is it enough? It might just be enough. That was a waste. That was certainly a waste. Could have gone so much better. And now the tanks are chasing after the V2. Yep. This V2 is dead to rights. Oh! Is that it for Dankshot? Is that it? He's pulling out. Service depot dead. Wait, what was he building there? Oh, a V2. Awesome. Had it been a heavy tank, it would have been cancelled. Because he just lost the production prerequisite. But nope. Oh no. Chipping away at more ore trucks is this heavy tank here. If they're unchecked, heavy tank DPS is unmatched against anything heavily armored. This is so brutal. Oh, right hand side though. That is a dispatch. Should maybe kill the ore refinery. And he has dismantled the economy here as well. He's starting to dislocate some of the economy there for Unano. Pretty good. Is he still in a winnable position? Let us check here. Yeah, the assets are even. 9 harvesters for both and a tech center. How did he manage to scrounge together the money for a tech center? This is always going to remain a mystery to me here. Oh, nice kiting. Hit and run from the rocket troopers. You don't see that often. Rocket soldiers are not known for their kiting. V2. On the right hand side, one more refinery dismantled. What's the tech choice here? Is it shock troopers? Nah. This ain't it, chief. I mean, it's a nice attempt. Honestly, in this position, the problem with Tesla tanks is not that they wouldn't be effective, they would be super effective. The problem is that they take so long to ramp up. Because you need 1150 to just build one of them. And they are starting to trickle in, so it's probably the timing rather than anything else. But he's going Tesla tanks anyway. Okay. That is a super interesting... And MiGs as well? Is this guy... This guy is loaded. Oh no! Ah, this pains me. I know what had happened. That was just a failed rally point. And the MiG auto-acquire targets. And if you don't micro them, like, that's the one thing with MiGs. MiGs are my favorite unit in the game, hands down. But they require so much babysitting. Because if you don't micro them, a single attack pass takes them like two screens away, and they run into all sorts of anti-air. Into all the anti-air they can find under the sun. So, definitely not what you want there. You always have to micromanage them constantly. Iron Curtain? What is this game? I swear. I can't even see. Where is this? Okay. Something is weird. Sorry, my audio just glitched out for a little bit. This is a wide flank, and ooh, there's a lot of heavies. There's a lot of infantry as well. The Teslas? Is he going for a counter push? Because this army, there's nothing here to stop it. he pull back? No, not yet. That's really risky. He's gonna risk it for the biscuit. On the southern perimeter, there is the first push. Kiting from shock troopers, jeez. I mean, there's not enough to kill this here. APC tried for some cheeky crushes. Didn't get any. Unfortunately, unlike in RA2, you cannot supercharge Tesla coils. It's just not what's happening here. Right, relatively cost-efficient cleanup from Dangshot. He did lose his harvesters. Only one of them. Top side, he lost all his harvesters, which is a big blow. But I think he's got enough to rebuild. Yeah. That's fine. Ooh. V2's going into melee range of the power plant, alright. Really good V2 usage. Gotta say, gotta commend the man here. Aww. Overshooting it a little. Ah, the V2 is being blocked. Unlucky. Unlucky. Not like this. Flak tracks from Unano. That is very, very understandable. Flak tracks plus an Iron Curtain is the perfect combo against this combination. Because Tesla tanks, they are not really tanks in the real sense. They are tracked vehicles and they are lightly armored. So they do quite a lot of damage to... Plus they've got continuous DPS, so they are actually fairly good against Tesla tanks, believe it or not. They do not also not sustain a direct hit from a V2. PSA. Public service announcement here. Man, the V2's from both sides. This is sick. But the Tesla's happening. Against infantry, shock troopers from the backlines are really good. They're just costly as fuck. So, also they're not that great against heavy armor. Unlike what you're supposed to... Like, everything you know about RTS design screams that shock troopers should be good against anything heavily armored, but they're really not that great. Not the greatest DPS. And with that out of the way, I feel like Unano's just running out of steam. What's the army value? Fairly even. But a lead for Dangshot at that point. He has got some power struggles here. Little detachment. Again, rocket troopers into the ore lines. Very good, very good. Most of his army is accumulating on the southern perimeter, while on the northern side, he really doesn't have anything. This would be the perfect time for MiGs to shine. Just dive right into the backlines, snipe a Tesla coil here, a harvester there. This harvester died anyway. Yep, to the paradrop. The paradrop has been here for a long time. Flamethrowers, I don't think are a good choice at all. Oh, this is a good choice though, parking in the ore lines. Flamethrowers, they serve no purpose here. They are just strictly worse in this scenario. Useless against heavy armor, useless against moving targets, and yes, they can provide some fire support for the backlines, but not against shock troopers that just one-shot any infantry. They've got a 1000% damage modifier against infantry. Nothing survives, not even Tanya. And she's the, I believe, the infantry unit with the highest health pool. Yep, that's how you use the MiGs. One attack pass, pull the back, one more attack pass. By the way, they do not have to face the target. That is one of the coolest features of MiGs. They are basically turreted in a way. You can make them release the missiles without actually having them be aligned. Unlike the Yak, because the Yak has to directly align with the target. That can sometimes lead to hilarious misfiring and hilarious mispositioning. Whereas with MiGs, that's just not the case. Oh, Tesla tank has insane range, can just poke away at range here. There is nothing that Unano can do, short of blind Yak dives. He has to wait for his Iron Curtain to come up, but I feel it's too late for the Iron Curtain to matter. It's 2 minutes. Around 2 minutes still. Oh, more heavies. This is relatively undefended right now. Game's still not over, and I feel like there is much more infrastructure for Unano than there is for Dangshot. Dangshot is on a slim base economy here, but he's got the better army. Just straight up better. Oh! That is nasty. A torrent of infantry is gonna come crashing down on Unano's infantry here. And the MiG is leading the charge. Just scouting ahead, seeing that there's nothing really in the way. Beautifully played. I really like how Tank Shot is basically dismantling him here. Obviously there is a tech advantage. You can't deny that the tech advantage helps you trade up usually. Because, especially if you use them properly. Iron Curtain should be ready. Yep, Iron Curtain has been fired here. So this is all about target fire. Ah, that Tesla tank is in the wrong position. Flamers though, the Flamers, they do nothing! Ah! It is honestly the unit choice. This is the wrong unit choice for the job. He has nicely killed off the V2s here. While the Iron Curtain was running out, so... At the end of the day, he still holds on. But he lost his entire army. There is a complete... My goodness. The entire recycling fleet here. What are those guys doing? They're just forming a union, I guess. Very un-American of them. Kappa Pride. PSA. If you're US American, form unions. No matter your political affiliation, it's just gonna help you. It's just gonna help workers in general. Yep. That was the political message for the day. Oh, really well played from Unano. Oh, that's so beautiful. So, abusing turret tracking. Parabombs? Parabombs onto the harvester? That is such a cool move, but it didn't line up properly. Didn't even kill one! Unlucky. Really cool idea. Execution 2 out of 10. Man, that was insane! Mammoth tank. Going in deep. I mean, there's nothing more that Unano can do, I feel, short of maybe a demo truck. Is he building a demo? Nope. He has to rebuild harvesters. He is broke AF. Yeah, but really nice display here of what mammoth tanks can do, or what MiGs can do to mammoth tanks. It's just, there's just no contest. You can't do anything. If you always attack from behind, then the mammoth tank turret is not going to be fast enough to turn. You can abuse turret tracking in a really hilarious way. And... oh, nice. He's still got some gas left in the tank. What about the economy? It is 7 over 8 harvesters. It's so crazy to me that with all those harvester snipes, they're still fairly even in terms of harvesters. Okay. That was a bit optimistic, the mobile flags. We're just waiting. Wow, he put the Tesla coil on hold fire? That is amazing. I think what Tank Shot did there was put the Tesla coil on hold fire so they wouldn't waste their bursts on Iron Curtain mobile flags. Pretty sure that's what happened there. So yeah, doing some damage here and also finding his way into the tech lines. Question is now, do you commit? Do you commit? Do you kite away? Oh, it's so hard. Yeah, so it's hilarious because mammoth tanks are technically anti-air, but against MiGs you still need... oh, that's nice though. Against MiGs you still need support from flak trucks. You can't send out the mammoth tanks alone, it's so hard. But it's also a really big micro requirement on the player who has the MiGs. And they're still going. Both still have economy, somehow. This is insane. Base is relatively dismantled, but it honestly feels to me like Tank Shot is one of those slim base players anyway. Nice. One more pass. He can kill one more. Doesn't wanna. There is some more MiGs. Oh, snipe for snipe. Yeah, at that point, as Soviet player, all you can do is park flak trucks in your ore lines. Flak trucks become... it's so strange, the dynamic, but they become an invaluable asset in the hyper late game. Against allies, they're just good against everything on tier 1.5 or tier 2. All the radar tech, they're good against artilleries, good against Black Hawks. I mean, good against spies if you want. But what isn't good against spies? Functioning eyes are good against spies. Not that they're weak, but they just are a fairly obvious counter. Yeah, but flak trucks are in the late game invaluable against Soviets, and they're also in the mid game they're invaluable against allies. It's a really interesting dynamic, even though they may feel weak. Even against chrono tanks, anything that's lightly armored, flak trucks are gonna pounce on that because they're relatively cheap, they are fast, they can basically outrun anything. 4 MiGs, by the way. Unano, I salute you. Fellow Air Force commander. This is just gorgeous. Yeah. 4 MiGs, basically enough to one-shot anything that's armored. Pass on a harvester, pass on a Tesla coil, pass on a base defense. 3 is barely not enough, by the way. As Mr. Dang Shot here is about to learn. Ooh, diving in and getting out. Beautifully played. Man, this is a harvester snipe fest. This is just to my liking. Oh, beautiful. 2 more harvesters down. Veterancy is starting to appear here as well on the MiGs. Ah, he's out of ammo. Veterancy on MiGs is big. Because it makes them even faster. Even more nimble. And the way things work is... the faster a unit is, the more likely a weapon is to miss. And in OpenRA, missing is not really a thing. Not 100% miss, but if you don't hit something dead center, it means that the damage is significantly reduced. So, wow, those are wide flight angles. Wide flight paths. Yeah, something else you want to do. If you land them, you have to land them manually, otherwise they're going to take terrible routes sometimes. And... well, the paragraph. Can't see it right now. Ah, here. And a PSA, always build your airfields together. The closer... ooh, well. The closer you build them together, the less likely it is that that your MiGs are gonna get lost in transitioning. Man, this is transitioned... speaking of transitioning, this is transitioned into a hyper late game Soviet versus Soviet game. This is awesome. Missing the nuke. Oh, Unano is building the nuke. He's cranking up the pressure here. Alrighty. So yeah, this is where you park your flak trucks everywhere. And this is where you one-shot Tesla coils. Ooh, one of the MiGs got downed. Yep. Also, this is something where Allied anti-air guns shine. Ooh, the entire army has been spotted, moving out. Parabombs into the path. Oh, come on, but Dang Shot is certainly gonna be aware of this, huh? Is he? Yeah? Oh my lord, no way! How? He's scattering? Oh my goodness, this didn't do too much, but jeez, that was close to blowing a hole into the army. Holy cow! That was insanely close. I mean, parabombs don't give an announcement, and they're really, really quiet. The Badger bombers, for being such massive transport planes, they do not make any sounds at all. Lots of civvies being acquired here by means of sell order. Back tech to V2 launches for Unano. Huh. I think the assets are back to even, are they? Unano is ahead by 20k. Dang Shot's eco is stalling. Wait, Dang Shot is on 5 harvesters. Unano has sniped way more than I was aware. Plus, here is the missile silo. Oh my goodness. It's about to go into the hyper late game. I love it. We're 35 minutes deep now. SAM sites are starting to show up here. This, by the way, is an easy snipe target. You don't need to send much here. Kill the Tesla tank. Yep. There is no anti-air. Kill the Tesla tank. Thank you, good sir. This push is ineffective. I mean, there is now enough anti-air that the MiGs are not going to be able to critical damage anymore. Yeah, can kill that though. Pull a SAM site. That's also a win. If you force your opponent to place the SAM site. Oh, that's nasty. Beautiful. Loses a MiG. That was to be expected. But gets a return kill anyway. Now what you need to do, that's also something, if you want to catch MiGs, don't catch them while they're attacking. Put anti-air into their return path. Like, for example, parking a flak truck here would have been highly efficient. But anyway, there is a mammoth death ball waiting to happen here. Dang Shot really needs to step up his infantry production if he wants to keep up with the Joneses here, keep up with the Unanos of the OpenRA world. Some more MiG passes being made. Yep, straight into the back lines. Ah, yep. Oh, Iron Curtain being fired. I'm not even sure that was worth it. That is a what? Let's check the cooldown right now. It's a 2-minute cooldown. But still, now he is vulnerable for 2 minutes. Both those tech structures can get sniped. And also, something else I want to mention, in CCHyper late game, if you've got the economy, it is sometimes wise, after you've built up a MiG fleet that you're not going to lose, hopefully, you can invest into Yaks, because Yaks serve as highly efficient dive bombs against tech structures. Sometimes yeah, and that's now the issue. He's wasted his Iron Curtain basically to save one of his mammoth tanks. That was so not worth it. This engagement is gonna go really, really south because there is now an invulnerable mammoth tank and he doesn't have recourse. Oh, has he blown this? I didn't like that from the start. Right from the start, that was a bad choice, and this may cost him the game here. He's throwing everything he's got at him. Mammoth tanks are dying. The MiGs, honestly, were not the greatest sacrifice. Kiting has commenced. Oh, how long can the mammoth tanks kite? They're gonna lose so much health here. But the Tusk missiles are taking chunks out of the enemy. Still though. Oh, the demo truck! There is a demo. Oh, straight into the back lines. This is death and despair. Was that even... That killed a lot of infantry. A lot of Unano's infantry, we should add here. Yeah, that was probably not worth it. Even though the demo truck was flashy. It was very flashy and glitzy. But probably not what Unano needed here. Ah, the MiGs though. The MiGs can go on cleanup duty. Man, what a game! What a game here. Unano is stabilizing. There is no more army for Dankshot. Dankshot has got a couple flak trucks. It's got a couple random assorted infantry. Oh, that's beautiful though. Flak trucks downing 3 MiGs. Huge. But still, he doesn't have enough firepower to deal with the mammoth right now. He himself has sacked all his MiGs in the earlier push. Oh, this is so tense. Let's check the economy. 7 and 8 respectively. Dankshot is so behind. What's the army looking like? Whoops. Army value 11k over 28k, under 28k. Yeah, it's not looking good for Dankshot, but jeez. The hyper late game is so tense to play in a soft mirror. Honestly, my favorite matchup. He's base pushing. Alright. I mean, if nothing else works, just... this blocks the deployment, by the way. This tile here has cost me many games. Not this one specifically, but this sort of tile. Yep. Dismantling the economy. I fear that Dankshot doesn't have the economy to support the push now. Is the Iron Curtain up? Iron Curtain for... Yeah, Dankshot has got the Iron Curtain up as well. Okay. Hard to call then. Parabombs. Pulling the parabombs, that isn't gonna help much. Beautiful display here. This is just intimidation parabombs. Let the fireworks go off. That's hilarious. Okay, here is a paradrop. Okay, I think he's lining it up so everything can get Iron Curtained at once. Yeah, beautiful. Very nice. Has to pull back here. The target fire is on the not invulnerable, or on the vulnerable mammoth tanks. Oh, I didn't die. Nice. And the MiG gets out as well. Oh, what did he do there? That was terrible. Lost a MiG and a mammoth tank. And if he's already this behind in this position, I feel like that was not a good move from Dankshot. Bit mismicroed. Also, I lost 2 more harvesters here. Yikes. He's also got a nuclear missile. What? How did he manage to squeeze out a nuclear missile here? Alright. This is so insane. Yeah, production tab is usually the most important one. Yeah, he's already pulling back. And he doesn't have the bunker busting power of Ukraine. I feel like that's to his detriment here. He needs to kill this economy because right now that is the juiciest patch. There is just too much. Too much from Unano. I can't see him coming back anymore. Oh, the flag pack. They're hunting. They are hunting. Is the uncurtain up again? Sort of. Almost. Oh, so many rocket soldiers dying. A hero's death. Iron Curtain, 20 seconds shy of coming online for both players. And Unano feels that this is the window of vulnerability. He knows he's got an asset advantage. So he's trying to pull the trigger here. I don't know. I don't know. How is he gonna stop this avalanche of steel? Mobile flags can outrange flame towers. So annoying. They can also outrange, not turrets, but pillboxes. It is one of the most annoying features they have ever introduced. Man, no more economy here. This is he's living on... He's boiling his shoes already in order to sustain himself. If you're catching my drift here. Alright. Push is on. How do you stop the Mammoth? Mammoth up to Veterancy 2 as well. Oh, solid. No more MiGs here. That is also a big problem. I feel like Unano's got this in the bag now. But this has certainly been a hard-fought victory. Man, this has been doing a number on both their mental health, I'd say. The mental health of both players. Yeah. No matter what defenses you build, they just get shredded by MiGs at that point. Look at that. Top side, the army is waiting in the wings. Bottom side, that is 4 Mammoth tanks plus a lot of random assorted crap here. Just waiting to pounce. Okay. Dang shot calling GG. What a game. Alright. We're 42 minutes deep. This has been awesome. We are gonna keep tabs on Dang Shot. That's for damn certain. I'm gonna highlight probably his series against Kaf that I heard about. That is gonna be one that I'm very much excited to casting. That's gonna be the next on the menu. Also some Shadow Paradise is finally gonna come online. Reason for my absence being that I've been so busy with real life stuff at the moment. Job and everything. Just super busy around this time of year. But it should be better now because I've got a week without the children. And as much as I love them to bits, but they are time consuming. So right now, 1 week for casting and I'm gonna stock up on replays. Let's dig right in. Yeah, thank you for watching. It's been a blast to cast. Oh, the nuke was about to come online as well. This has been a fantastic game between Unano and Dang Shot, whom we're gonna keep close tabs on, most certainly. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. 5 Aces, out.